All right, welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. I'm Matt Hopkins. We're here to answer your shooting questions, but we're not doing that tonight. Tonight we have Mike Foley, USPSA president.
Not yet, but that's very optimistic.
We have Tim Myers, Pro Shop Goon.
Howdy.
And today we're about to talk about the presidential election for USPSA. Mike, anything on that?
Actually, yes. So we're doing this show live, and the ballots are starting to reach people. They mailed last week by the deadline of the 15th. People in different areas have sent me pictures of their ballots today. So we're in the throes of the final election, and those ballots will count all the way through December 1st. But it's super important that we not wait, that we get online and we vote now. It takes about 40 seconds. We only had 5,086 people vote the first time. I think we've educated some people along the way since then, and if there's no voter apathy, perhaps we could have a better turnout. Those ballots should be just like before, with the exception of they'll only have two names on them and only one you should worry about. And that's mine, Mike Foley. If you vote for anyone else, that's nothing to brag about. However, there is a recent development that's come about in the last hour and a half out of Area 6. And I know some people would say that's not a surprise, but Area 6 is near and dear to my heart. It's a big place, and there's a lot of shooting activity there. But the Area 6 directorship in the runoff between Chris Palmer, who's the incumbent, and Bruce Wells, who is the other candidate, should appear on the ballots for everyone in Area 6. However, people from Area 6 are reporting that that election is not on their ballot, only the presidential runoff. So I'm not sure who dropped the ball, either the election firm or USPSA, and it's too quick to judge or point fingers about that. Even though I'm sure everyone will be talking about the what ifs online tonight. I did share on my Facebook page, my candidate page, and my personal page about Chris Palmer's statement about that not being on the ballot. Now, the good news is, if you're going to vote online, is that you can log in, and those names do appear for the Area 6 members in the online portal, but they're not on the written ballot. They're not on the mail-in ballot. So I'm not certain what the board will do about this, whether they will extend that process, mail out new ballots, but they have to give everyone a chance to vote one of the two legal ways, either by mailing it in or by doing it online. So I don't think that we've heard the last of this. I'm certain that a lot of the directors are up tonight discussing what the potential outcomes are here to try to make sure that every member in Area 6 gets to vote for their area director.
All right, that sounds good. So if someone doesn't get a ballot, what would they do then?
The process for people who don't get ballots or misplace their ballots, or maybe they've moved, or maybe they're out of town working and they're not going to be home before the election is over, you go to the website for the election firm, and there's instructions on how to get a replacement. I think we're going to link that up at the end of the show here.
It'll be in the show notes on YouTube.
You can actually call them and authenticate by phone, verify your identity with some questions that they'll ask, and they'll give you a code to vote right then and there. And a lot of people did that the first time. There were people who didn't get ballots, or who jumped the gun, or were out of town or whatever, and so they logged in with the verification code that they were provided when they called in, and were able to vote with no problems. Even as late as the last day, people were contacting me saying I didn't get a ballot. So,
All right, that sounds good on all the election stuff. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Tim?
Vote for Foley.
Vote for Foley. All right, anything you want to say, Mike?
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody who participated the first time, the other candidates, the people who voted, the spirited discussions that are going on online. These are important things for us to discuss, and a lot of our discussions have already yielded in things that the board is working on. And I'm really pleased that we've already been a part of the discussion, and I can't wait to take the membership's voice up there as a whole.
All right, that sounds good. Seems like a pretty quick episode here. Anything else from anybody? I don't have any shooting questions tonight. Just something I wanted to point out. All my support's behind Foley on this election, and I'll give you some reasons why. I actually visited Mike Foley at the Kentucky State Handgun match this weekend and got to visit his little gun club that it was referred to as. And that little gun club has like annual income and expenses in excess of $700,000. They have like 15 employees on the payroll for the last year. So that's more employees than USPSA has. It's the same 501c3 company as USPSA. So he has all the experience that USPSA needs to do this as a full-time. He is going to offer club incentives to like use their activity credits for betterment of the club, not just national slots. He's very open to transparency. He said he's going to be on podcasts like this even if he does get elected. We're going to hold you to that also.
Absolutely. This is a tremendous tool for reaching the membership in an exchange that's a lot different than just a few printed words or some vague meeting minutes. And I think that podcasts and forums and being out there at matches is really important to the membership. They all have a section coordinator and an area director and a process that they can go through. But I don't want them to be limited to just that. I want them to be able to have the ear of the president. I want them to be able to have some input in the process. And certainly we're going to staff our committees with people from all over the membership, not just people on the board.
The committees, like, what do you mean by that?
One of the things that I'm going to be doing just as soon as I know that I'm, the president-elect, if I am going to be the president-elect, is I'm going to start tasking committees for a lot of the sensitive projects and issues that we're working on that our board can't possibly be experts on. I'll give some examples. We're likely going to have a committee on 3-gun. We're likely going to have a committee on best practices for awards and prizes. We're likely going to have a committee about sponsorship and the way that we handle that now. We're likely going to have a committee about communications, marketing, 3-gun. Don't think I already said 3-gun. Anyway, so all of these things, World Shoot committee, and at some point I would like to either have a nationals committee or a standing person whose responsibility is to make sure that the information about our nationals is early, that it's constant, that it's consistent, that it's accurate. Every time we do a national championship doesn't have to be like the first time. We've been doing this for 30 years. And so I'm not going to go all into all that. Nationals was a tremendously great match. We fell short on some of the administrative tasks both before and after, and I'd like to see us clean that up. USPSA is in the customer service business, and the customers are the members and the people who shoot the matches, the shooters. And rather than treat the shooters like children, I think we need to treat them like customers. And that's something that's super important to me. And so if we have people who don't shoot, that's okay with me as long as they understand the customer service need. If they don't understand the customer service need, perhaps they need to be the customer like you are and like I am and like everyone listening here is.
All right, makes sense. Sound like you're getting it more to the people that are there to shoot, not just the top 1% or so.
Oh, yeah, that's what this is about. This is about the guy who's B class with an RO card who shoots 12 club matches a year. Maybe he shoots a state match. Maybe he's thinking about going to nationals next year. This is not about the top 16, though they're a part of us. This is not about the guy who just joined because we may not have him in a year. This is about the people who participate in what I consider to be a lifestyle sport. And these are our customers, and these are our members, and we're all part of a giant fraternity. And it's about time we start doing things that make sense from that perspective.
All right.
I said I wasn't going to get on a soapbox. I said I wasn't going to be stumping on this podcast, but I can't
That's
help
all right.
it.
I think it's all good information for anybody new that hasn't heard it before. They can check out the previous podcasts and stuff on the election. I have nothing else on this. I think everybody should get out there and vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I think you should vote, even though I'm going to be voting for Mike. And if you don't, I won't talk to you again. All right. Anything else, guys?
Nothing here.
All right. Tim's a ball of talkativeness. All right. I have nothing else. Anything, Mike?
No, I'm good. Please.
If people want to reach you, how can they get a hold of you?
Mike Foley for USPSA President on Facebook. We've got a really fast response time for that page. Is the easiest way. If you're not a part of the big data mining website, then perhaps you can chat me up on email. It's MikeFoleyUSA@gmail for the time being.
USPSA President in a couple of months, right?
President at USPSA.
All right, whatever.
Yeah. Contrary to what you predicted, Phil has not been forwarding me his emails.
Oh, really? Dang.
No.
All right, I have nothing else. I'm Matt at hopkinsshooting.com if you have anything for me. Tim Myers is what?
BenSteger@gmail.com for any complaints.
All right. And if you have any shooting questions, bensteger@gmail.com. We'll answer those in the next podcast. Thank you.